Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a deep dive into history to answer a massive question. How did an ancient civilization, thousands of years ago, lay the groundwork for the world we live in today? That's right, we're talking about the ancient Greeks. You might think of them as guys in togas, debating philosophy, but their influence is so much more profound and is woven into the very fabric of our modern lives. From the way we think, to the way we govern, to the stories we tell, it all has roots in ancient Greece. So, grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's journey back in time to uncover how the Greeks, in many ways, invented the modern world. Let's start with the big one, democracy. The word itself comes from two Greek words, demos, meaning the people, and kratos, meaning rule. In the city-state of Athens, around the 5th century BC, a radical new idea was born. Instead of being ruled by a king or a small group of aristocrats, citizens could participate directly in making laws and decisions. Now, it wasn't perfect. Only adult male citizens could vote, excluding women, slaves, and foreigners. But this was the first time in history that the concept of popular rule was put into practice. The idea that power should reside with the people, not a single ruler, was revolutionary. It laid the foundation for the representative democracies that most of us live in today. Every time you vote, you're participating in a tradition that began on a dusty hill in ancient Athens. Next up, philosophy. Before the Greeks, people often explained the world through myths and the whims of gods. But then came thinkers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. They introduced a groundbreaking new approach, using logic and reason to understand the universe. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," encouraging people to question everything and seek truth through dialogue. His student, Plato, explored concepts of justice, reality, and the ideal state in his writings, which are still studied in universities worldwide. And then there's Aristotle, Plato's student, a true polymath. He made huge contributions to logic, biology, physics, ethics, and politics. His method of systematic observation and categorization is the ancestor of the modern scientific method. These philosophers taught us not what to think, but how to think critically, a skill that is absolutely essential in our complex, information-saturated world. The Greek influence doesn't stop with the big, intellectual stuff. It's in our art, our entertainment, and our language. Ever been to a play? You can thank the Greeks for inventing theater. They created the genres of tragedy and comedy, exploring complex human emotions and societal issues on stage. Playwrights like Sophocles and Euripides wrote stories of love, loss, and fate that are still performed and adapted today. The very idea of a protagonist, an antagonist, and a dramatic arc comes from them. Even our stadiums and amphitheaters are based on Greek designs engineered for acoustics so that actors could be heard from the back row. Think about the Olympics, a global celebration of athletic competition. That's a revival of an ancient Greek festival held in Olympia. They celebrated the human body and the spirit of competition in a way that continues to inspire us for years. Let's talk about architecture. When you see a grand public building with large columns, like a courthouse or a museum, you're looking at Greek influence. They developed three main styles or orders of columns: the simple Doric, the scrolled Ionian, and the ornate Corinthian. But it wasn't just about looks. Greek architects were masters of proportion and perspective. They used subtle optical illusions, like making columns slightly wider in the middle, to make their buildings appear perfectly straight and harmonious to the human eye. The Parthenon in Athens is the ultimate example of this precision and beauty. This pursuit of balance, order, and ideal forms has influenced Western architecture for centuries, right up to the present day. And we can't ignore medicine. Before the Greeks, illness was often seen as a punishment from the gods. Then came Hippocrates. He is known as the father of medicine because he was the first to argue that diseases had natural causes, not supernatural ones. He and his followers meticulously observed symptoms and believed that the body had a natural ability to heal itself. The famous Hippocratic Oath, a code of ethics for doctors, is named after him. Its core principles, like do no harm and protecting patient confidentiality, are still the ethical bedrock of modern medicine. The idea of clinical observation and diagnosis, the very foundation of how doctors work today, began with these ancient Greek physicians. Finally, the Greek legacy is even embedded in the words we use every day. So many English words have Greek roots, especially in science and technology. Words like biology, geography, philosophy, telephone, photograph, and even democracy itself. Their alphabet was also a game changer. By adapting the Phoenician script and adding vowels, they created the first true alphabet, where each symbol represented a single sound. This made reading and writing much easier to learn, helping to spread literacy and knowledge. This alphabet was the direct ancestor of the Latin alphabet, which is what I'm using to script this video and what you're likely reading in the comments. So, when you look around, the Greek influence is everywhere. It's in our political systems, our scientific inquiries, our university lecture halls, our theaters, our stadiums, and even in the language we speak. They weren't just a civilization of the past, they were the architects of the future. They championed reason, curiosity, and the power of the individual, creating a blueprint for Western civilization. Of course, our modern world is a complex tapestry woven from many different cultures and innovations. But it's undeniable that the threads spun by the ancient Greeks are some of the strongest and most vibrant in that tapestry. They didn't just give us marble statues and epic poems. They gave us a way of looking at the world, a toolkit for thinking that we are still using thousands of years later. Thanks so much for watching. What part of ancient Greek influence do you find most fascinating? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you in the next video.